Cancer clinical trials are a cornerstone of progress in oncology, shaping the future of how we understand, treat, and ultimately hope to cure cancer. These carefully designed research studies are essential not only for the development of new therapies, but also for refining existing treatments, improving patient care, and sometimes even providing hope when standard options have been exhausted. For patients, families, and healthcare professionals alike, understanding what cancer clinical trials are, how they work, and what participation entails can be both empowering and reassuring. At their core, clinical trials are research studies conducted with human participants to evaluate the safety and effectiveness of new medical interventions, be they drugs, surgical procedures, devices, or even changes in behavior or lifestyle. In the context of cancer, these trials often focus on finding better ways to prevent, diagnose, and treat various types of malignancies. Before any new treatment becomes widely available, it must pass through a rigorous process of testing, beginning in laboratories, and progressing through multiple phases of clinical trials involving people. The journey of a cancer therapy from the laboratory bench to the patient's bedside is long and meticulously regulated. It starts with preclinical research, where scientists test promising compounds or approaches in cell cultures and animal models. Only when there is sufficient evidence that a new intervention might be both safe and effective does it move into clinical trials involving humans. This transition is tightly overseen by regulatory agencies such as the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, or the European Medicines Agency, EMA, ensuring that patient safety remains paramount throughout the process. Clinical trials are typically divided into 4 main phases. Phase 1. Trials are the first step in testing a new treatment in people, usually involving a small group of participants. The primary goal at this stage is to determine safety, appropriate dosage, and identify any side effects. While these trials may not always focus on whether the therapy works against cancer, they are critical for establishing a foundation for further research. Phase 2 trials build upon the findings of Phase 1, enrolling a larger group of participants to assess the treatment's effectiveness against specific types of cancer while continuing to monitor safety. Researchers look for signs that the new intervention can shrink tumors, slow disease progression, or improve symptoms. Success in Phase 2 paves the way for Phase 3 trials, which are much larger and often compare the new treatment directly with the current standard of care. These studies are designed to provide definitive evidence about whether the new approach offers real benefits to patients, such as longer survival or better quality of life. Phase 4 trials, sometimes called post-marketing studies, take place after a treatment has been approved for general use. These trials continue to monitor the therapy's performance in a broader population, looking for rare side effects or long-term outcomes that might not have been apparent in earlier phases. They are an essential part of ensuring ongoing patient safety and optimizing how treatments are used in everyday clinical practice. Participating in a cancer clinical trial is a significant decision for any patient. The motivations for enrolling are varied and deeply personal. Some individuals may be drawn to the possibility of accessing cutting-edge therapies not yet available outside the research setting, especially if standard treatments have failed or offer limited hope. Others may wish to contribute to scientific advancement, hoping that their involvement will help future patients. Regardless of the reason, informed consent is a fundamental principle of clinical research. Patients must receive clear, comprehensive information about the trial's purpose, potential risks and benefits, alternative options, and their rights as participants before agreeing to take part. One common misconception about cancer clinical trials is that they are only for patients who have exhausted all other options. While it is true that some trials target those with advanced or refractory disease, Many studies are open to newly diagnosed patients or those at earlier stages. Trials may focus on prevention, early detection, or improving the management of side effects and quality of life. Moreover, some trials explore combinations of existing therapies or new ways of delivering care, broadening the scope of who might benefit. The process of joining a clinical trial generally begins with a referral from a healthcare provider or through self-initiated research. Potential participants undergo a thorough screening process to determine eligibility, based on criteria such as cancer type, stage, prior treatments, overall health, and specific biological markers. These criteria are carefully designed to ensure patient safety and to maximize the likelihood of obtaining meaningful results. Not every patient will qualify for every trial, but the range of available studies is expanding rapidly as our understanding of cancer biology grows. Once enrolled, participants are closely monitored by a multidisciplinary team, including oncologists, research nurses, and other specialists. This team ensures that patients receive high-quality care, that data are collected accurately, and that any side effects or complications are promptly managed. Regular assessments, such as blood tests, imaging scans, and physical exams, are integral to the trial protocol, allowing researchers to track progress and make adjustments as needed. Safety is a paramount concern in all clinical trials. Every study is governed by a detailed protocol that outlines exactly how the research will be conducted, including how participants will be protected. Independent oversight is provided by institutional review boards, IRBs, or ethics committees, which review and approve all trial protocols before they begin and monitor them throughout their duration. Additionally, many trials have data safety monitoring boards, DSMBs, that periodically review interim data to ensure that risks remain acceptable. If unexpected safety issues arise, trials can be modified or halted to protect participants. The benefits of participating in a clinical trial can be substantial, but so too are the potential risks. While some patients experience positive outcomes, such as tumor shrinkage or improved symptoms, others may not benefit directly. Experimental treatments may have unforeseen side effects, and there is always uncertainty about how an individual will respond. However, the close monitoring and access to specialized care that come with trial participation can be advantageous, regardless of the outcome. It is important to recognize that clinical trials are not a last resort or a gamble. Rather, they are a structured, evidence-based way to advance medicine. Each participant contributes valuable knowledge, helping to refine our understanding of cancer and improve care for future generations. Even when a new therapy does not prove superior to the standard of care, the insights gained can guide future research and inform clinical practice. For many patients, the decision to participate in a clinical trial is influenced by practical considerations. Travel to specialized centers, frequent appointments, and additional tests can pose logistical challenges. Some trials offer support with transportation or accommodation, and research teams work closely with patients to minimize disruptions to daily life. Open communication between patients, families, and healthcare providers is essential to address concerns and ensure that participation is feasible and worthwhile. Financial considerations are another important aspect. In most cases, the costs of the experimental treatment and additional monitoring are covered by the trial sponsor, whether that is a pharmaceutical company, academic institution, or government agency. Standard care costs, such as routine doctor visits, hospital stays, and laboratory tests, are usually billed to insurance, just as they would be outside a trial. Patients are encouraged to discuss financial implications with the research team and their insurance provider to avoid unexpected expenses. The landscape of cancer clinical trials is rapidly evolving, driven by advances in technology and a deeper understanding of cancer biology. Precision medicine, which tailors treatment to the genetic makeup of an individual's tumor, is transforming the way trials are designed and conducted. Biomarker-driven studies, adaptive trial designs, and the use of real-world data are enabling more flexible, efficient, and patient-centered research. Immunotherapy trials, for example, are reshaping expectations for cancers once considered untreatable, offering durable responses for some patients. The rise of decentralized or virtual trials is another exciting development. By leveraging telemedicine, remote monitoring, and digital platforms, researchers can reach a broader, more diverse population of participants. This approach reduces barriers related to geography, mobility, and time, making it easier for patients to take part without leaving their communities. Decentralized trials also generate richer, more continuous data, enhancing our ability to understand how treatments perform in real-world settings. Diversity and inclusion are critical priorities in cancer clinical research. Historically, certain groups, such as racial and ethnic minorities, older adults, and those from rural or underserved communities, have been underrepresented in clinical trials. This lack of diversity can limit the generalizability of research findings and perpetuate disparities in cancer outcomes. Efforts are underway to address these gaps, including outreach to community organizations, culturally sensitive education materials, and flexible trial designs that accommodate diverse needs. Patient advocacy groups play a vital role in advancing clinical research. These organizations provide education, support, and resources to patients and families considering trial participation. They also work with researchers and policymakers to ensure that patient voices are heard in the design and conduct of studies. By fostering collaboration between stakeholders, advocacy groups help accelerate the translation of scientific discoveries into tangible benefits for patients. Ethical considerations are woven into every aspect of cancer clinical trials. Respect for patient autonomy, confidentiality, and the right to withdraw from a study at any time are foundational principles. Researchers are obligated to balance the pursuit of scientific knowledge with the imperative to protect participants from harm. Transparency in reporting results, both positive and negative, is essential to maintaining public trust and advancing the field. The impact of cancer clinical trials extends far beyond the individual participants. Breakthroughs achieved through research have transformed once fatal diagnoses into manageable chronic conditions and, in some cases, have led to cures. Treatments such as targeted therapies, immunotherapies, and minimally invasive surgical techniques all owe their existence to the willingness of patients to participate in clinical trials. Each new study builds upon the lessons of those that came before, creating a cycle of discovery and improvement that benefits society as a whole. Despite these advances, challenges remain. The process of developing and testing new cancer therapies is complex, expensive, and time-consuming. Many promising compounds fail to demonstrate sufficient benefit in clinical trials, underscoring the importance of rigorous methodology and careful patient selection. Regulatory requirements, while essential for safety, can create hurdles for trial initiation and completion. Balancing speed with thoroughness is a constant tension in the field. Patient recruitment and retention are persistent obstacles. Many trials struggle to enroll enough participants, leading to delays or even premature closure. Misinformation, fear, and lack of awareness contribute to low participation rates. To address these issues, ongoing education, transparent communication, and engagement with communities are essential. Simplifying consent forms, using plain language, and providing decision aids can empower patients to make informed choices. The COVID-19 pandemic posed unprecedented challenges to clinical research. disrupting trial operations and highlighting vulnerabilities in the system. However, it also spurred innovation, accelerating the adoption of digital tools and remote monitoring. Lessons learned during the pandemic are likely to shape the future of cancer clinical trials, making them more resilient, adaptable, and patient-friendly. Looking ahead, the integration of artificial intelligence, big data analytics, and genomics holds promise for revolutionizing cancer research. These technologies can identify patterns, predict treatment responses, and optimize trial design, potentially shortening the time from discovery to clinical application. Collaboration between academia, industry, regulators, and patient advocates will be crucial to harnessing these advances while maintaining ethical standards and patient safety. For patients and families facing a cancer diagnosis, the prospect of participating in a clinical trial can be daunting. It is natural to have questions and concerns about the unknown. Open dialogue with healthcare providers, careful consideration of personal values and goals, and seeking support from trusted sources can help guide decision-making. Ultimately, participation in a clinical trial is a deeply individual choice, one that should be made with full understanding and confidence. In conclusion, cancer clinical trials are not merely a pathway to new treatments. They are a testament to human resilience, curiosity, and the collective commitment to conquering cancer. Every trial represents a step forward, built upon the courage of those who choose to participate and the dedication of the researchers who lead them. By understanding the process, recognizing the opportunities and challenges, and supporting ongoing research, we can all play a part in shaping a future where cancer is no longer a life-limiting disease, but a conquerable challenge.